I was just wondering, it's amazing today. It's a beautiful, bright, sparkly, sunny day, and I suppose the last place you want to be is in a film. But that's why many times, and I suppose you people are as well. But there's lots happening in the film world, and of course the biggest game in town now is the coming Oscars coming up on morning of March 11 in only a few weeks now, and there's several nominations that I've been over in previous weeks. But now I'd like to bring to your attention that fact that the short film nominations, are Oscar-nominated films for this year, are having a brief theatrical run, which you guys can get out and see these on the big screen, which is the best place to see them. Now, short films are fantastic, but you never see them. I mean, back in the old days, I'm told, I'm not that old, back in the old days we had often a few ads and one or maybe two short films before the feature film. Nowadays, of course, it's all ads, but there's just very few places you can actually see these wonderful short films. The short films by the Oscar rules are anything under 40 minutes, including the credits. And sometimes a short film can be even better than a fully feature film, because this is a nice little encapsulated film which says a lot and leaves you feeling good and informs you, but in not quite so much time, which is interesting in these times of films getting up to 2 and over 3 hours long in many instances. And some people are complaining about this because sometimes you need an interval. But some of the short films nominations, they are in areas of best live action, best animated short film, and best documentary short film. And now this year, these films, short film nominations are going again. Short films have been running since the very beginning of the Oscars, so that they definitely are a big part of the Oscar presentations. And this year there's a big increase in diversity, and apparently there's a lot more women represented and in these areas, and also international producers and directors. So we have actually a majority of the directors in the best animated category are women, and this is fantastic. So I think the Oscars are trying to get a little bit more inclusive. But let's have a little look at some of the nominated films, which you can see right now, right through till early March at the Palace Cinemas, Nova Cinema, and Lido Cinemas, and those locations are screening these. So early March, of course, is when they're going to finish, because the Oscars themselves are, as I say, on March 11, the Monday morning screenings, live screening of those. So let's have a look then. Some of the Oscar-nominated films. First of all, the animated short films. This program runs for 80 minutes if you want to get down and see them. But some of the films you might want to see is one particular one is a Pachyderm. This is coming in from France, only 11 minutes. And it's an interesting story. Young Louise is sent to her grandparents for a few days vacation in the country every summer, and she gets around, has a lovely time out in the garden and swimming in a lake and fishing with her grandfather, and it's just a wonderful, idyllic summer for her, and she looks forward to it. But everything's just pretty good, including grandmother's legendary strawberry pies. But this year things are a little bit different, because the snow falls and there's a monster will die, and we have to find out exactly what happens then. And all this happens in a very concise 11 minutes. Pachyderm screening at the Oscar-nominated films in the animated section. Another one you might want to check out, coming in again, only 11 minutes, but it's wonderful. We have War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. And this animated film is set in a different alternative World War I, and as the war rages on, two soldiers on opposite sides of the conflict play an incredibly joyful game of chess. Now, this theme has been followed in a couple other films, and with great effect. How the opposing soldiers briefly get together. And this time we have a pretty heroic carrier pigeon, which delivers the soldiers' chess moves over the battlefield, back and forth. as they have this chess game. And so that's a lovely animated film, once again, only at 11 minutes. That's coming in. And that's also, so that is called War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay. Now, also highly recommended, we had Wild Summon, and this comes in 14 minutes as an animated feature short. And this is an interesting natural history fantasy film. We follow the dramatic life cycle of a wild salmon. He's actually in human form, and this film follows him going up the river, and is also narrated by Marianne Faithfull. Remember that singer? Wow. So she's narrating this one, Wild Summon. And that is the animated short films. There's a couple to pick out, although there are several others. Now, live-action short films. This, if you want to see this film program at the cinemas, it comes in at over 2 hours. So be aware this is a long one because there are a few longer films in this one. Once again, any film up to 40 minutes, including credits, is eligible for Oscar short films. One particular one is Red, White, and the Blue, and this comes from the USA. And we have a young woman, a single parent, living on a paycheck, living from paycheck to paycheck. She's living on a very threadbare life, and she has an unexpected pregnancy, and things going to go a bit crazy for her. She just can't afford this baby, and so she's forced to go across state lines in America to try and find an abortion, and things get a bit tense to try and get that happening. And this is a very political one, of course, nowadays in America. So that one, once again, is called Red, White, and particularly Blue. So you might want to see that one. Another interesting one. This one is directed by Wes Anderson. He's a big feature film director. You may remember from the Grand Budapest Hotel in previous years. I love that film. You might want to check that out on streaming. Also, more recently, Asteroid City. But he's done this film called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And this is a series of stories, but the main particular one of us follows Henry Sugar himself, who apparently is able to see through objects and predict the future with the help of a book that he has stolen. And that one comes in at almost the feature film, the animated, almost the short film length at 37 minutes. So that's a good one. The last section we have for nominated Oscar short films is the documentary shorts. And this cinema short film program goes for, again, over 2 hours. So be prepared if you want to get in to see those. Once again, that's screening right around Melbourne at the Palace Cinemas, Nova, and Lido, only briefly now, from now right through till early March. So you can check these out. It's always better to see them up on the big screen, and then you'll know what these films are when you watch the Oscars on Monday morning, March 11.
Okay. We'll have a short break for a message or two.
Okay, thank you.
We're back on air with Sig Anderson. He's been talking about short movies, which is a fascinating subject.
Yes, and once again, you can see these Oscar-nominated short films before the Oscar Awards in the cinemas now, right through to early March, only another week or so. So just the last category we have are the documentary shorts section, and this cinema collection of films goes for over 2 hours as well. And one of the films you might want to check out is Island in Between. And this documentary short film talks about the relationship of Taiwan, the United States, and China from the islands of the Kinmen, which are just a few miles off of mainland China. And there's fraught in that area with the three superpowers looking at, well, the United States and China anyway, and Taiwan looking at the situation there. So it's very fraught politically, as you can imagine. Once again, that's called Island in Between. Another couple of films you might want to see at the Oscar-nominated documentary film screening around Melbourne now are the ABCs of book banning, very much like the 1966 film Fahrenheit 451. And nowadays, over 2,000 books have been removed from school districts in the U.S. 2,000. Incredible. These books are just flying off the shelves, and this is not really a good thing for many people, depriving children of the right to read and learn. So they talked to children and authors in this documentary series to find out a little bit more about this dangerous precedent. And the last one we have, Hillary, is The Barber of Little Rock, coming in 35 minutes. This is an incredible story of this barber in Little Rock who likes to explore the wealth gap between people in that area. And this local barber is pretty visionary because he has got together a People's Trust non-profit community bank, which he founded, The Barber. And that's an incredible story coming in at 35 minutes. The Barber of Little Rock. Lots of films to see on the big screen if you want to check those documentary, animated, and live-action short films before the Oscars, Hillary. That's all I've got for today.